Yeah. Hey, how are you feeling?
I feel good. It's a mix of I'm feeling these like I actually just texted somebody and he asked how I was doing and I said I keep going from extremely overwhelmed and like I too much and then all of a sudden I feel just this like just super grateful and this sense of calm. And so I just keep moving through both of those this specifically this week, like getting to the end of the year, needing to do a bunch of stuff, but just all these things are happening around us that it just makes me, yeah, makes me really grateful. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
For me, I mean, it was a lot last 2 weeks because of our lunch. It was a lot of doing. So I was just doing
Mhm.
working day and night and, just even like I had my laptop everywhere, even talking to people till night.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to really, yeah, I think it's nice that I'm a little bit now at least that is not in my mind because it was just consuming so much of my responsibility and feeling like, okay, this lunch cannot go wrong, being afraid of things going wrong,
Yeah.
excitement of it. So I'm doing a better job of celebrating it. I usually am not good at celebrating and pausing and say, hey, we launched like this thing that like it's huge that we have spent this much time and then the vulnerability of putting it out there and people trying out our app. It's just very interesting, especially now that I'm
Yeah.
in reflective mode, is like the emotions that there are. And also because we're close to the end of the year, it's just a reflective
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yesterday after lunch, I was before the lunch, actually, somehow I was very happy and excited because of the people who were joining our lunch, because a lot of
Yeah.
them, and I know them through different periods of my time from my, like old friends. There was one there, one from family, and then from my coaching community, from some other men's group community that I'm part of. Just it was very special to see like kind of remembering that I know all of these different peoples from different groups and so it did feel I was feeling very relaxed and excited for it and but a few days before that I was much more anxious and worried and much more in doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm more in celebrative reflecting mode
Yeah.
now.
I love that. Yeah. I I had a very similar experience with the event. I was not with that in doing it, I was not nervous. I didn't feel stressed around it. I just everything about it felt right. And even like getting into it, it felt really good. With we had a really great group of people join us for the launch event, and people were so open to sharing. We had some prompts for everyone to reflect on, and it really felt like just such a good, clear space to do that. I even had a chance to take a little bit of time during that to reflect too, even though I still need to take more time. But yeah, it was so nice. That was just so encouraging and inspiring to see everyone come together like that in that space. And it really, I mean, we talk a lot about like having these grounding moments, and I think that's one thing that just like really grounding and like this what we're doing is we're really building something here that's really special. So that felt really good. That really set the tone for my day yesterday. After we wrapped that up, I am, despite my background, I'm in Mexico right now. And so I just floated in the ocean after, and I just had a chance to just clear my head and just take it all in. and the ocean is where I feel the happiest. So it was like it was just the perfect combination of that. So yeah, I'm feeling really grateful.
Yeah, I think grateful is the right, like gratitude was the
Mm.
feeling. Um, and the reflection that I had. So, so in our launch event, we had a prompt to reflect on last year and what was one emotion, big emotion, memory of big emotion that came up, and what was that emotion? What was the aha moment around it? What is the takeaway? And as I was reflecting, for me, two moments came. And one was within my coach training, my coach trainer. At some point, I felt very much seen by her. Like she was acknowledging me in a way that I got seen. It didn't feel like someone is like, "Oh, thank you for doing this." It was like, "Okay, I I'm acknowledged." And it was such a big breakthrough that within our team, we try to have the acknowledgement. And the other one was again sense of belonging as I just moved to US and I was so hesitant, scared a little bit, moved back to US after a couple of years in South America. And I had this moment the first weeks, and it was all of the conversations about ICE. And even though I'm US citizen, I just the whole narrative, it's just very disturbing. My parents were scared, even though they are US citizen.
Yeah.
And I had another person who was on this call, and just he had this very just one moment. He's like, "Do you trust me? Do you trust me?" And he couple times he asked, and I was so much in my head that I couldn't. And then for a moment, I became present, and I'm like, "Yes, I trust you." And within that time, there was a couple other friends, and I felt supported a little bit. Like I felt like, oh, I'm safe. I
Yeah.
have people. And yeah, it was very interesting. The two big moments that came up for me were kind of being seen and belonging. And two of those people who were part of this journey were in our soft launch call and
Wow.
reflecting with us.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, that's such a important. Those feelings are so important, and I think we often, I don't know, like that's something that I don't. I do. I also I can feel it, but it's not something that I stop to think about as much. Is that I am just feel I am places where I feel like I belong. Because I mean, I was feeling that when I first got to San Francisco, but having you there made it feel like I kind of already had a space there where I felt safe. So I've been really, yeah, I was really lucky in that regard. And of course, we both have so many people that support us, and some of them showed up yesterday and continue to show up. And that's just, yeah, it's so nice. It's such a good feeling to have that. And then I had that with you as well. And so that's really, yeah, I'm also grateful for that.
Yeah, that's such a nice compliment or feedback. I think that's one of the most that's one of the nicest thing that I can hear from someone that I have that quality. Thanks. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
I think there can be a lot going on during this time of year with holidays, with end of year like pressure to get things done, but there's also this sense of needing to like have a fresh start too. And so I think I sometimes feel this weird like pressure between And now, especially with trying to like celebrate a time of year that doesn't feel as happy because I had, I talked about previously that my grandma was a big part of the holidays for me, and she did pass a few months ago, and so weird. It's like everyone's like happy holidays and they're celebrating this thing, and then going into a new year, I don't know. I'd love to kind of hear what you think too, because over the last few years, I've kind of rejected this idea of need this fresh start and like needing the end of the year to be a finality of something, at least for
Yeah.
me personally. So I don't know. I always feel weird this time of year. I don't feel like I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah, I can share what I think. I think in general, the being complete is something that I've learned that is important. Just completion, which is
Mm,
nothing lagging. And around this time, I just did it with, I had my group coaching for founders and we did completion. And that's
mm,
something that is like just looking at last year, what was accomplished, what was, what is incomplete, and what is like, and just, it doesn't like we're doing the same thing, but just decide, do I just feeling complete with it that, hey, this is not complete, but I'm willing to let go of that, or I'm
mm,
not like being very clear because yeah, that's only thing that I do at this time of the year. I try
yeah.
to just a moment to reflect, right?
Mhm.
It's nice to reflect every once in a while. I don't think it needs to be at New Year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better to do it once a month. But I think also because things are slowing down and cycle of our work is in a way, there's some holidays and some connection to family. Yeah, I try to do that completion to really reflect, see what is done, what is something that are still lagging. And for me, one of them was this year. I was hoping that we are like further with our start with Insights Out. Like our
Yeah.
plan 6 months ago was at this time we raised money,
Mhm.
and but then I was like, okay, is there anything there? And I was willing to really, generally to say, no, I feel complete. Like it was amazing that they set this high bar and we really went for it. And we
Mhm.
learned so much and we created so much and all of it. I think that's enough. And I'm complete that we didn't get there. So that's the concept that I try to do complete. So not, I'm not because things start to lag on. I don't know. Does it make sense? What?
Yeah, no, of course, of course, yeah. Yeah, I think it's this idea of having to attach it to the in like this time of year, I guess for me. Because I do think having that moment reflection is such a big part of it, and it's so easy to not do that. It's so easy to just go on to the next thing and not stop to reflect. But I think even having something like what you said, like having these goals that you set, but if having this mark of completion to say like even if it didn't check these boxes, that it still feels complete for me at this moment. And I can reflect back on that and feel really proud of the work that I did. I think that is, yeah, that feels like something I can grab onto. Especially because I think even though it's really stressful having not raised yet, and that financial stress is a big one, a big thing that I'm personally struggling with right now, and having to I do a lot of different work in order to pay the bills. But I think even just having that event yesterday, to have that moment, like that was something for me. That was such a moment of completion, to complete something. Um, because I um I realized yesterday that I'm actually back in Oaxaca where this all started, where you and I met, and it's coming like full circle to be able to do this thing. And that felt like similar to how you had that moment of having, your coach on this call. That felt like some like coming around for something for me that it's so interesting to have things like for me, like, there's special places in my life that I've been, and it has a lot to do with the people. And so coming back to a place, not having those same people in it, but still having something that still ties back to that really was really a moment for me that I got to sit with and experience. And so that was exciting. And so I did feel that. I think it's like this idea around the holidays of a lot of people carry so much stress because you have to do a lot, especially if you're the person in charge of your family who's got to handle Christmas gifts and the kids and Santa and the food and hosting and all of these things. And I think that's what, I mean, I'll be honest, like that pisses me off about the holidays. Like, especially those people who are always relied on, like, like parents and I think women in particular in households. It makes me angry that during a time when you're supposed to be able to relax and be with family, you also have all these responsibilities. So I'll say that I personally am lucky enough to not have that. At least this year, I'm not hosting. I'm not. No, we're not. We've decided with my family that we're not doing gifts, so we're taking all that pressure away. But yeah, I guess that's something else that bothers me about this time of year, if I'm being
That's
honest.
very cool. It's one of those things that I cannot relate to because growing up, I didn't celebrate Christmas. And then in US,
Yeah,
I've been celebrating it with other people, but I think people assume I'm not the one they're like,
yeah,
oh, do you have anywhere Christmas? Come over to our house.
yeah,
I mean, my sister does it. Actually, my brother-in-law is from Slovakia, so they have their own traditions and they make a specific kind of bread for a few days and do those things. But it's so much fun.
yeah.
And I usually go there with my nephews and spend time and old friends. But
Mhm.
the part of too much work doesn't is something that I for the first time I'm like, oh yeah, I never it's one of those things that, I've always like, oh, this is nice. I can go to people are celebrating, but I've never been the host of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I do want to. I just acknowledge that that the holidays is not happy for everyone, and so having, there's so many different things that come up for people, and not everyone has these a happy place to celebrate these things, or even if they do, they have all of this other pressure, and so yeah, I think and the holidays can have this like just added sense of loneliness if you don't have what you're supposed to, like what is typical of a US Christmas and in other countries as well, right? And so, I just yeah, there's still something to be said for finding those moments of reflection and but yeah, I do feel that contrast as we're talking about the sense of belonging and gratefulness and
Yeah.
celebration to know that it's just not that's not always the case, and there can be more a lot uh build built upon on during this time of year, like building. Yeah.
Yeah, the loneliness of it, I can relate to it. I've had
Yeah.
many Christmases and Thanksgivings that I'm like, yeah, I feel lonely. I mean, I done it myself or I did it with other people who were orphans in a way in the US. They don't have
Yeah.
family. And it was, yeah, because the whole city always is quiet and there is that. And yeah, I think that's one of the most, I mean, both of us lived in South America. as soon as I go to South America, I feel something that is the biggest contrast is that loneliness and
Mm,
belonging, that people are
yeah,
much more, it's easier to be part of different communities, and some of it is cultural,
yeah,
but I think it's one of the main causes of the problem that we're trying to solve with all of the mental health is just not having that support, that belonging. Like when
yeah,
I feel safe, that I'm supported, I feel held, just everything, I become more relaxed, and everything I can let in joy, I can connect with other people. And it's so hard to create that safety. You cannot tell someone to feel safe.
yeah.
For me, no one has been able to tell me feel safe. It just
No, no,
happens by other people, me being lucky in the right place and at sometimes kind of feeling it and creating
yeah,
it for myself. But yeah,
yeah,
it's and that's why we're building the community with Insights
yeah,
Out. One of them is for people to go to this mental health journey and mental
Mhm.
well-being together, because this is
Mhm.
such a deep journey and such a juicy and fun journey to it's so much fun because I think when we are in that deep place, we can connect deeper with people as well.
Yeah,
Or people who at least are willing to have the courage of stepping into this journey.
yeah,
There is something about them that also they can connect deeper with each other and be vulnerable. And yeah, real connection happens in vulnerability.
yeah. I like that you said courage, and that reminds me of a friend of mine once was talking
Brené
about
Brown.
no. um, um, but just as insightful. And they were exploring this idea of a safe space, and they actually and I know they didn't coin this term, but they said, I also like calling it a brave space. And I think that
Mhm.
was so like for me, that always stuck with me that there is so much courage to show up and to have that openness and to connect in that way and to be a part of a community. And so yeah, I really
Yeah.
like that idea of courage.
Yeah, the reason that I said Brené Brown is because actually, I even remember the moment that I was listening to her book, I think Dare to Lead, one of her books.
Mm,
And that's where she talks about vulnerability is courage, because and all good leaders have that courage to be vulnerable.
yeah,
And for me, that was the first time that it kind of flipped a little bit. I'm like, wow, yes,
mm,
it is courageous.
yeah,
And that kind of helped me to step into it more, versus looking at it as something weak or, it's cool. But when I saw vulnerability as courage, mm, I think I started to step into it more. And I think Brené Brown has done a lot of work in here, just both in vulnerability and showing that it is an act of courage to be vulnerable.
yeah, yeah. I really like that. I really like that. And do you want to talk at all about what you're going to be doing at the end of this year and how you're feeling about leading up to, I don't want to take this
Yeah.
space, but if you want to share a bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to a 10 days Vipassana meditation. So maybe that's why I'm not thinking too much about Christmas and New Year,
Yeah,
because I'll be in meditating in a silence meditation with no talking, no eye contact for 10 days, just sitting and meditating. And I'm genuinely scared of this, genuinely scared because I've never done this long meditation. And yeah, just so much there. And also, I'm scared because I'm the person who built the app and I'm the technical person. So I'm like, what if something goes wrong? You
I
cannot
share
have,
those fears.
and yeah, I don't have my phone or anything there, so it's like completely not accessible. But also, I think it's a very special thing to be able to, for a few days, to just be with my thoughts. Like I cannot do anything else but being with them and processing them, and then see what is behind that, or not see anything. That just because even trying to see what is behind that is some intention. Trying to, I'm not a Buddhist, but trying to more tune into meditation and Buddhism mindset. So just be with it and see what comes up because a few people, several people told me that was one of life-changing events of their life to go to this
Mhm.
10 days meditation.
Yeah.
And it's never fun, but it's completely donation based.
Mm.
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Well, I
I'm
think, yeah, we're talking about courage. I think that to just be with yourself like that, that takes a lot of courage.
yeah, I am scared.
Eh.
I'm scared of wanting to run away after a day. I'm like, no, I don't want it.
Mm,
And
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so as we were talking about the completion, maybe, yeah, maybe next week we can talk about that, huh? What is complete and what is next? Or do you want to talk?
yeah. I think something as because next week we're also starting to look at like financially how we're doing, what our plans are for that. And I that is something for me that is very tied to emotions as well. And so I think some stuff will probably come up with that. And I'm sure there are other people who are in a similar space, especially as first time founders who are navigating this. So that is something that I want to hold some space for too next week.
Yeah, I think the finance is top things for founders. Same thing. I have a lot of emotions about it. I get
Yeah,
scared, and so I'm very excited to just have a very raw conversations of for founders because
yeah,
as a coach, I hear like I think everyone has the finance problem, all founders. There
yeah,
is money, there's time, there is like co-founder relationship and other things, but money is the first thing.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that would be interesting to explore in and see
yeah,
what we how we are navigating it and what is like really dig into it, see what is there, what are these thoughts, what are these fears. Um, I like it. And then what it means to have a honest conversation about it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Do you want to talk about it now or wait for next
No,
week?
no, no, no. Yeah, I think there's so much we need to talk about you and but I am like, I think having this space too to talk about it will be good. I was just thinking, just in general, how hard it is it's such a big, I think, stressor overall is this idea of financial security. And yet it's something that, at least for me, I feel some like I don't know, like shame talking about it sometimes, and it's interesting because if you're right that we are we are being really vulnerable to say like this is the conversation we need to have and having it more deeply than just, hey, this is the bills that need to get paid this week. Because it's so much more than that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think
Yeah,
that's both for us, it's going to be very valuable, and then for everyone else
yeah,
to hear that and reflect how they are processing it.
yeah. I look forward to that. Um, I actually, do you want should we end with acknowledgments for this one? We talked a little
Yeah,
bit about it in the beginning. I think that would be great to do here.
yeah, I love to. I
Okay.
always enjoy acknowledgement. I think it's very special.
Yeah. Would you like to be, are you ready to be acknowledged?
Yes.
Okay. Ah, gosh, there's so much. There's so much, but I think like the main thing that I want to acknowledge you for, and this is from the moment that I met you, is is your is just the power of your presence. There's so much like from the first moment that we met, I felt like this sense of calm just being around you, and that was what drew me to wanting to explore more about what you were working on. And then I became just like inspired by your mind and the way that you think about things, but it mostly is the way that you're so connected with how with yourself, and that sense of connection is something that you echo and like out into the people in your space as well. And so I've been lucky enough to to gain some of that just by walking alongside of you in this journey. And that sense of presence has been so calming and grounding, and so many moments where, even yesterday when we were talking, it was like I said, yeah, I'm okay. And you were like, I don't think you are. And it's like just having that sense of knowing and being with people and being able to sit with them and in those uncomfortable moments is so special. And so I keep I use I just realized I say it's so special a lot, but this is truly a special relationship that I'm grateful for. And so I want to acknowledge you for you.
Oh, that's a lot to take in. Oh, thanks, thanks. I feel acknowledged, and it is yeah, thanks. This is so nice. Just want to be with it for for a little bit
Yeah,
too.
please.
Uh, okay. So, Chelsea, I think what I want to acknowledge you is for the more we work together, enjoying, I'm seeing how much of a good dance partner you are. Um, in terms of, because there is an art to be a partner and dance with someone. And it's one of those things that it's hard to see initially, because usually we look at someone's individual talents of, oh, this person is good at this or that. But I think this is one of the most important skills that one can have, and it's one of those invisible skills. And because it's invisible, now it's like I'm seeing more and more of it. That I'm like, wow, I feel good about working with this person, and I feel all of these things. I feel seen, I feel creative, and I'm like, oh, that's some of it is because of the relation, and because such a good dance partner you are, is combination of maybe a good listener, just your being, all of that. But yeah, I want to acknowledge you for being such a um in a very, yeah, I think it's your wisdom. You're a wise person deep inside, and your patience, and there is a gentleness to your way of being, but also fierceness, and like I think it's just a spectrum of different things that creates such a great dance partner. And I give the dance example because I like dancing, and it's just so much goes to a dance partner to be good. Shouldn't, it's just a conversation. Yeah, just all of those things that makes you such a good dance partner that I'm starting to see. I want to acknowledge you for that.
Wow, thank you. Yeah, and That feels really good because I do know how close that dance is to your heart and how important that is in your life. So that feels really special for me to hear that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. I feel
Yeah.
acknowledged. I
Yes. Oh, do you feel acknowledged?
do. I
Alright. I
do.
can say,
Yeah,
let's do this again next week
let's do it.
and for another week.
I will see you soon.